So as everybody knows, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, um, it's supposed to be coming out sometime later this year. I don't remember what the exact release date is, but it's going to be on the Switch too. It was originally released back in '98 for the N64, and it's widely considered by many people as one of the greatest Zelda games of all time. And a couple of years after that, like I think actually in 2000, we got The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask for Nintendo 64 as well. And even though it was a really good game, it's known for its darker tone in comparison to the previous Zelda games that we had gotten for the um, the N64, the Super Nintendo, and the NES. And and I think the last time we got a remake from Majora's Mask was back in 2015 for the 3DS. Personally, I feel like Nintendo should have just did that for the Wii U because I feel like it would have helped the console sell more in the grand scheme of things. But but yeah, Majora's Mask I feel like is a game that I feel like it was really different from what we had seen like before and after it. One of the things that really caught a lot of people's attention was the dark tone, along with the fact that like it was a apocalyptic scenario type of video game where the world was supposed to end within like 3 days. And the whole thing with Skull Kid being the main villain and the mask and it being cursed and all that stuff, it was really intriguing. And I honestly feel like it was one of those games that probably could have gotten a pass as a T-rated game opposed to a E-rated game because Zelda, for the most part, is for children. But I don't know, this was darker than your typical Zelda game, and I think that's something that really um, that stood out and made that particular entry more memorable. And I feel like the gameplay mechanics also made the game really memorable because you had access to like I want to say more than 20 different masks, and depending on what mask you had, it pretty much determined what type of interactions you had with NPCs. You had animals that could follow you. You could summon powerful transformations. Um, some people like the musical numbers in that game, while others might prefer the ones of Ocarina of Time more. Um, I feel like Skull Kid, honestly, was one of the more underrated villains of the Zelda series because in most Zelda games, you get Ganondorf, and I don't know. I mean, Ganondorf obviously is the best villain in the entire series, but Skull Kid, I don't feel like it gets the love that he deserves in terms of being a video game villain. But but yeah, Majora's Mask, even though it was a pretty good game, it didn't sell as much as Ocarina of Time, which is expected. Um, I think Ocarina of Time sold somewhere short of like 9 mil, and Majora's Mask, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was somewhere between like 3 and 5 mil on the N64, and it's something that doesn't shock me because it's pretty tough to follow a game like Ocarina of Time in terms of commercial success. A lot of people would go on record and tell you that Majora's Mask was like better than The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, which came out for GameCube back in 2002. In fact, some people probably feel like Majora's Mask should have been saved for GameCube, but then again, if it appeared on GameCube, it probably wouldn't have sold as much because the GameCube console flopped on a commercial level, but it was still a pretty good game system regardless. But but yeah, I feel like if Nintendo doesn't have any new Zelda entries up their sleeve within the next couple of years, why not remake Majora's Mask? It's a classic that never really got like a home console remake, at least not to my knowledge or anything. And and I do feel that the darker tone is something that the current generation of gamers would definitely be interested in. And I'm expecting, Ocarina of Time to do well in terms of sales, mainly because of its name value and the fact that it's been goaded over the past couple of decades. And as far as Majora's Mask is concerned, I don't feel like enough people from this generation know about it for the most part. But but I don't know. I just hope Nintendo doesn't try to pull some mess, like sell it for like $50 or $60. Try to sell it like for more than it's worth if they ever do like a remake or they do it like, digital only or through their eShop or what have you, but I don't know. I do feel that at some point we're going to get a Switch 2 remake of Majora's Mask. I don't know necessarily when. Um, you would have think they would have done something with Majora's Mask back in 2025 this past year because it would have marked the 25-year anniversary of that particular game. But who knows? Maybe Nintendo will do something with Majora's Mask on the Switch 2 by the time we get to 2030.